What's up, guys? Team APS here. I'm Alec.
I'm Alex.
I'm Paul.
And we're going to bring you our top 10 best decks for beginners.
So this is a video for like a younger sibling, cousin, maybe a new friend.
Yeah, and these are all decks that you can pick up very easily. They're easy to play, so a new player won't have any trouble understanding them, and most of them are pretty budget too.
Before that, a word from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. It's a new collection RPG that's taking the world by storm. It's got over 10 million players in just 3 months.
So this game has great graphics, strategic gameplay, huge boss fights, an amazing storyline, and over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize.
My favorite is Gallic. He's an orc with the special ability Hellraiser. He can hit all enemies on the field and then get a speed boost to attack more times.
What I love about this game is that everyone can find something for himself. Some love collecting characters, and some are all about deep storylines and graphics.
And I'm personally down for beating some noobs in PvP.
This game's actually free to play, and of course it's got PvP battles, but it also has PvE dungeons and really cool big boss fights.
Personally, I think this game is amazing, but you don't just have to take my word for it. With almost 200,000 reviews, Raid has an almost perfect score on the Play Store.
Also, the new update is now live, and there's a new awesome loyalty reward program for new players. You can get a new daily login reward for the first 90 days in the game.
So what are you waiting for? Go and download Raid Shadow Legends today. The link is in the description, and if you do it now, you'll actually get 50,000 silver and an epic champion just for your efforts.
Our first deck is For Hires.
Oh yeah, this is the furry deck, right?
Yeah, but that's not why it's a good deck for newcomers.
That's just one of the reasons.
What makes it great for newcomers is that For Hires is a pretty simple deck to play. You read the card and that's what it says, and what they tend to do is swarm the field and bring out big monsters that have strong effects.
Yeah, so the small ones like Beat do basic things like searching and summoning for things like Raphael, which can negate monster effects.
Yuck.
They're all very easy to get too.
Yeah, except for Beat, it could be a little pricey.
Yeah.
Depends.
I think the next deck for me would be Trickstars, because even though they were a kind of annoying meta deck, they are really simple and consistent.
And like For Hires, they're easy to get.
Yeah, so it's a burn strategy. It's got cards like Candina and Light Stage, which search your other Trickstar monsters, and Lycoris, who can bounce the Trickstars to summon herself.
And they have some other effects.
Yeah.
All burn.
They all burn your opponent either for using spells and traps or adding cards to their hand. And their very infamous trap card, Trickstar Reincarnation, basically just destroys your opponent's hand.
So yeah, you don't even have to play Yu-Gi-Oh! The same way your opponent does if you play Trickstars.
And if you like to kind of play around with text, there are some other Trickstar monsters that aren't commonly used that you can look into as well.
So it's versatile.
For sure.
The next deck is Dinosaurs. One of the most consistent decks we've ever seen. Most of it came all in one structure deck.
Yeah, Dino Smasher's Fury a couple years back.
They have Fossil Dig and Overraptor, both of which make this deck stupid consistent.
Yeah, for real, you can search like any dinos you want.
And then Coatlas can, when sent to graveyard, can search your Double Evolution Pill, which can summon Ultimate Conductor Tyranno from the deck.
One of the most powerful boss monsters.
And very accessible.
Yes, so this thing's got a really strong effect. It can flip all your opponent's monsters down, destroy them one by one, burn them for it.
1,000 each.
So why is this a good deck for beginners? Because of him.
Yeah.
He ends games.
I mean, basically you have consistent engine, strong bosses. The baby dinos can actually float out advantage, like Miscellaneousaurus. And it's easy to get all these cards.
Yep.
So the next deck is Element Sabers. This one was actually released last year, even though a lot of people have forgotten about it. But all of these monsters are warriors, and in the graveyard they can change their attributes, which makes it easy to summon the Elemental Lords, which are the
old
boss
boss
monsters.
monsters.
Yeah, you've got things like Mulan Glacia and Grand Soil.
Love me some Grand Soil.
They have very powerful effects, but they're usually tough to summon, but these guys can make it easy. Plus, you could even tech in cards like Dark Arm Dragon, or BLS, because you can change your attributes to dark or light. They got a field spell that helps with consistency, and they even have their own built-in boss monster that protects them.
I feel like a lot of these decks have field spells that help with consistency.
It's a trend in Yu-Gi-Oh! For sure.
Not For Hires. Our next deck is Mech Knights.
Oh yeah, the World Legacy archetype.
So yeah, they were some of the first archetypes to come out in World Legacy.
And the first archetype to make you think twice about taking your finger off that card.
Yeah, it really teaches you a new way to play the game.
Yeah, they're all about columns.
Yeah, so basically if there's 2 cards in a single column, then you can special summon a Mech Knight from your hand to that space, and it will get a effect.
Yeah, Blue Sky searches, Purple Knight can also banish them in search, Indigo can move. And they've got spells and traps too, that negate your opponent's card effects in those columns. What makes it so simple is like, you just summon them and they're big.
The summon condition is very easy to meet too. Like,
it even makes your opponent really wary of like where they place their cards, and I think that's kind of a good learning
It puts a lot of pressure on an opponent, which kind of alleviates the pressure on you. Because your opponent's going to be reacting to you at this point.
The next deck is Trap Tricks. So Trap Tricks are actually a rather old archetype. They were notoriously pretty strong in Yu-Gi-Oh! At a time, and they center on the trap hole cards. So in addition to not actually being affected by traps themselves, you can search those trap cards like Bottomless Trap Hole,
Acid Trap Hole,
Time Space Trap Hole, or Deep Dark Trap Hole. Or...
Trap Hole, just Trap Hole.
Never just Trap Hole.
Yeah, any trap hole cards you want. And they did just get a Link monster, Trap Trick Sarah, which helps to advance the strategy by getting more of your Trap Trick monsters from your deck and more of your trap holes from the deck.
So why is this a good deck for beginners?
Probably because it forces you and your opponent to play at a slower rate.
Yeah, that's a big complaint in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is these decks that can just kind of do everything all the time. But when you're playing Trap Tricks, your opponent's going to have a lot of their monsters get hit by the trap hole cards. And when they do, they'll be out of resources and then you can just grind them out.
Hey, not bad. The next deck is Vampires. So Vampires, they've been in the Yu-Gi-Oh! For a very long time. Well, now we have a new versatile version of the deck. You have two searchers. They're both very small, Retainer and Familiar. They can summon themselves from the graveyard, and they can search a card. They can search each other, and then they can search either like a vampire monster or a vampire spell or trap.
Yeah,
they're just
and
that good.
Some of the new ones like Scarlet Scourge work really well with some of the older ones like Shadow Vampire to just get you free vampires from your graveyard or your deck. There's Foreline that protects them in battle. There's Domination.
Domination is the counter trap.
Strong too.
Yeah, now they do cost a lot of life points to use their effects, but some of those effects will give you the life points back.
Next up on the list is Harpies. Well, Harpy Ladies. So Harpy Ladies is a pretty old archetype, one of actually the first archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! But what makes Harpies great is that they've stayed relevant in that they just do what the cards say. They can special summon from the hand.
And the deck.
And the deck.
Like an Egotist.
Use Elegant Egotist to special summon Harpy Ladies or Harpy Lady Sisters out the deck. They have a plethora of spells and traps that support Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters.
They can also destroy your opponent's spells and traps too.
Yeah, with Harpy's Hunting Ground. And when it destroys your spells and traps, you even get bonus effects.
Ooh. So Harpy Ladies can really slug it out with your opponent. If you like a beatdown strategy, you're not winning too quickly, and you're definitely not losing too quickly.
It's very aggressive, but it can grind, and that's probably my favorite part.
And that's why I believe it's easy for beginners to pick up.
I'd say that another really good deck for beginners would be Six Samurai. Hey. So it's an old favorite.
You mean 1600 Samurai?
There's a lot of them now.
There is a lot of them. So the Six Samurai monsters can all summon themselves out to the field. They all have different effects. They recently got some new ones.
The Secret Six Samurai, which are basically ninjas, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah, they can protect your Sams from the grave. And Six Samurai monsters, in addition to swarming, can make powerful boss monsters like Xian.
Oh,
or the other Xian.
Or the other Xian.
Or the other Xian.
Yeah, there's actually like 3 Xians, I think.
Yeah, but only one really needs to be used, the Synchro.
And because of all the monsters you field out, you can, like you said, make lots of Synchro monsters, Link monsters, that kind of thing. And it's very consistent. It's got draw cards, it's got Rhoda and Smoke Signal.
Gateway of the Six is their most powerful card.
Oh yeah, that recently came back. It's really good too.
Even up to night 1.
Yeah, hopefully it'll come to 3 one day.
I hope not.
And the final deck
is Heroes, which is kind of, well, you said before, like a mega archetype.
It's a blanket term.
It is the quintessential fusion deck.
Yeah, everybody loves it. It's from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. They recently got Stratos back, which can kind of pull any hero deck together.
They have access to Rhoda, one of the best like search cards I've ever had.
They can utilize lots of different polymerization cards, lots of different fusion monsters.
They have a walking floodgate in Darklaw.
Or you can like just, you know, make a Neos variant or a Destiny Hero variant or like
or a
anything.
Vision Hero variant.
Or just mix them all together and make some hero thing.
Amalgam.
Yeah. So it's a very accessible deck. None of the cards are difficult to get. So
not anymore.
Pretty highly recommended.
Yep.
And those are 10 decks that we recommend for new players just trying to get into the game. All of them pretty simple to get the cards, pretty easy to play the strategies, but I'm sure we left some out, right?
So let us know in the comments what decks you think would be the best for a beginner to try out.
And let us know how you've performed with these decks we've talked about.
And of course, shout out to the Team APS channel members. If you're interested in that, it helps us, supports the channel. Hit the join button. We've got a few now.
And make sure you guys check out Raid Shadow Legends on iOS and Android. Make sure you click that link in the description and check it out.
And that's all we have. We'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.